In a quiet riverside town where evenings arrived gently and stars appeared one by one, there lived a thoughtful boy named Sammy who was afraid of the dark. He was not afraid of shadows themselves, nor of the night sounds drifting through open windows, but of the feeling that came when the last light faded and the world became too wide and uncertain to understand. Each evening, while other children ran outside chasing the final glow of sunset, Sammy carefully lit a small lantern and kept it close to his chest. Its warm circle of light followed him from room to room, across the courtyard, and even to the edge of the riverbank where reeds whispered in the night breeze. One summer, something strange began to happen. The fireflies that once filled the air like floating stars began to disappear. At first there were fewer of them, then only a handful, until the sky above the river grew empty and still. The darkness seemed heavier without their gentle blinking, as if the night had lost its quiet laughter. Sammy noticed one tiny light still flickering near the tall grass by the water. A single firefly drifted alone, glowing weakly, its light fading sooner each night. It hovered close to the ground, never rising high like the others once had, as though the sky had become too far to reach. Sammy watched it carefully. He began bringing his lantern to the same spot every evening, shielding the fragile insect from gusts of wind and the chill that settled after sunset. The firefly's glow remained faint, but it lingered near the steady warmth of the lantern, circling slowly as if drawing strength from the light. Days passed, and Sammy grew less focused on his fear of the dark and more concerned for the tiny creature. He started arriving earlier each evening, placing the lantern among the reeds where the wind was gentlest. He cleared small stones from the ground to make a safe resting place, and waited quietly, allowing the silence of night to settle around him. Gradually, he noticed the darkness was no longer as frightening. The river reflected the moon in long silver ribbons, frogs sang from hidden places, and the sky deepened into a vast, peaceful blue. The night had not changed, only his attention had. One evening, a storm rolled across the valley. Thick clouds swallowed the stars, and rain began to fall in heavy sheets that blurred the edges of the world. Sammy hurried to the riverbank, holding his lantern beneath his coat to protect its flame. The reeds bent low under the weight of water, and the ground turned slick with mud. The firefly was there, clinging weakly to a blade of grass, its light barely visible through the rain. Sammy knelt and placed the lantern beside it, cupping his hands around both lights to shield them from the storm. Cold water soaked his clothes, and wind pushed against his small frame, but he stayed where he was, determined that the last spark of brightness would not be lost to the darkness. After a long time, the rain softened to a whisper and then stopped entirely. The clouds drifted apart, revealing a sky washed clean and bright with stars. Sammy opened his hands slowly. The firefly lifted into the air. Its glow, once faint and fragile, now shone clear and steady. It circled the lantern once, twice, then rose higher, climbing through the cool night air. Sammy watched in wonder as another small light appeared nearby, then another, until a scattered handful of fireflies shimmered above the river like sparks drifting upward from an invisible fire. The darkness no longer felt empty, it felt alive. Sammy returned home that night without lighting his lantern. The path was dim, but the memory of those tiny lights guided him. He realized that bravery had not arrived suddenly. It had grown quietly while he focused on helping something smaller than himself. From that day forward, he visited the river each evening, not because he feared the night, but because he had learned to see its hidden beauty. More fireflies returned as summer deepened, filling the air with soft golden pulses. The single fragile light that had once struggled alone now moved among many, indistinguishable from the rest yet forever special in Sammy's memory. As seasons changed, Sammy carried his lantern less and less. Eventually, it remained unlit on a shelf, a reminder of the boy he had been and the courage he had discovered in the gentle glow of a creature no larger than his fingertip. Years later, when he walked beside the river as the sun slipped below the horizon, He felt a calm certainty settle over him. Darkness was no longer something to fear. It was simply the space where small lights could shine the brightest. And somewhere in the tall grass, a single firefly often lingered near him. Its steady glow like a quiet promise that even the smallest spark, protected and believed in, could illuminate an entire night.